Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bagtalk with ueMoney. It is your girl, and I just want to thank you guys for being here today and listening to me talk some shit, just per usual. Today, I hope everybody is feeling and looking great. I still haven't come up with like an actual intro, but it's like, let's just get right to the point, right? Let's just check in. Let's see how we doing first, how we feeling. Let me make sure that you guys are up to date with what's going on in my life, because I like to make sure that you guys, feel like if you're a part of it. Basically nothing. I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for all the love on the previous episode and just for all the love in general with the podcast. This is something that has been a journey nonetheless, and I just get more and more excited, and I love that I'm able to fall in love with the whole idea of why I started the podcast and have new people just find it for the first time and be so excited to hear about it. It means the most. So I just want to say thank you for all of that. And I'm happy that we're enjoying the video format. I'm definitely enjoying it more, and it makes me want to film like 3 episodes in one day. But, my mouth do get a little bit dry because I be talking too much. But so for today's episode, I kind of wanted to get into the topic of ambition, right? And I feel like it is kind of a tricky topic, but the thing with ambition, what points I want to focus on is why are people basically scared of it, right? And we're going to get into a couple of different examples of what I mean, probably like 3 examples. But yeah, it's just something that was heavy on my mind since the last episode. And I'm like, And then especially, with me looking or searching for a job, and that may be a ton of other people like you guys, or not even necessarily having to be to search for a job, but just trying to search for a passion or something or a hobby, or feel like if you guys are like kind of missing out on something because everybody's doing one thing, you know what I mean? So you feel like you have to do something. Some people aren't like that, and hey, that's completely okay. But who this podcast is kind of dedicated for is for those people who have ambition and who are looking for ambition. And you can lose that at times. You can think that it's too much, and I kind of want to get into why does that even kind of surface, and how can we rid of that, and this is not like a doctor expertise. This is just my opinions. This is just me having something to talk about, just to get the conversation going and the thought kind of going across. So with all that being said, let's get right into it, y'all. I recently saw this was kind of a late night thought, right? I was like, when you try to go to sleep and then like you think of every probably worst thing or best thing or dream scenarios to help you go to bed and ease all of your worries or whatever the case. I don't know. Your mind has literally a mind of its own. Can you believe that? But this kind of happened to me that I'm like, I was like, thinking about a conversation that I had with an interviewer for a job position. And I was like, why were they asking me so much about this said thing, right? And I'm like, is it because they're intimidated by it? Is it because they think that could possibly interfere with my performance at the job? And it's like, all those are valid, thoughts. It was a valid question, but I'm like, is that could have, having that on my resume, was that kind of a turnoff to other prospects or to other recruiters? You know what I mean? And it's like, but that's just something that's a passion or a hobby of mine. And yes, it was YouTube and podcasting that kind of made a recruiter go, I'm not sure about this. And it made me think as to, okay, but why? You know what I mean? If I am having these other goals and ambitions and doing my own thing with that, how does this concern you, in any way? Or how do you see it as an interference, basically? And that kind of made me start, but second guessing, I'm like, oh my gosh, should I take it off my resume? Which, I put it on my resume as something to be proud, as an accomplishment more so, instead of just a career. I put it as an accomplishment, hey, I just started doing this, and this is the result so far that I've gained from it. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, I guess I could see how they view it as a job or something that is not negative, but that's kind of the correspondence that I'm having with it, right? And I'm like, but shouldn't, recruiters and businesses and organizations and just people in general want to be near people who are ambitious and who have that strive and have that drive to go and do something and make something out of something? You know what I mean? If you're going to put your effort into something, or you're just doing it just so it could just be, I don't know, average. Me as a person, I always strive to be above average or to just be extraordinary. It's just unapologetically me. And granted, some people are not like that, but it's shouldn't we want people to be like that? Isn't that what we should be teaching people? Hey, you could do this. You could start off doing something basic, and who knows, you know, with your level of mind or your skill or your craft, and you can continue building it into something even bigger. You know, that even bigger portion of the conversation is something that I think everybody should say to a person, like whether it be like your kid, little kids, or just in general right now at this stage in our lives, especially like your young 20s, right? We shouldn't be dimming each other or people, you know, because the 20s are already a troubling time, right? So it's like scary. Like, you don't know what the hell you're doing when you're in your 20s. Like what Taylor Swift said about how can you know everything at 18 but nothing at 22. Who? Real. Like, get that tattooed, y'all. But I refuse to let that be my story. Do you understand? When I was 21, like the coming months into 22, I was losing it. Post grad, losing my mind. I don't know if anybody peeped, but I was internally not okay because I was questioning everything in my life. Like, everything was just not going the way that I planned. And you know what? That's life. That's what's going to happen. But I've encountered situations and moments like that throughout my life, but never as, I guess, drastic and severe to the point where I literally didn't have a backup, or I didn't know what I was going to do, where I was literally in a stage of limbo. And some people, it doesn't even matter if you're in your 20s right now, your teens, or even older, you may be in that stage of limbo. You may be in that stage of questioning, what are you doing? What is the purpose? How come you're not where you want to be, or you don't know what route to take? Whether if you should blow up and, like, you know, not everybody's goal, which I noticed, isn't to become famous, isn't to become known. You know what I mean? For something that they did, right? As for me, sure, like I just want to be recognized and appreciated. I don't care so much, you know, the fame is nice. I mean, I won't sit here and complain. Like, I love my little subscribers. I love y'all so much. And it's just, but it's surreal. It's just a number, you know what I mean? Until I'm actually faced, you know, if I were to sell out an arena, okay, and I'm going to perform a concert, let's say, then I'm like, whoa, you know, I feel like that's when artists really have that, oh my gosh, is how many people, because it's how many people you encounter is really throughout your day-to-day is the number that you, like, you know what I mean? Whatever, that's sidetracking. But it's not about the popularity for me. It's just the recognition and being able to change people's lives, like, individually is what I care about. Or to know I made somebody's day is enough for me. Like, that's basically my job. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to get out of something. That's my purpose. That's what I feel like. That's something that I've always said from when I was younger, that I just love, like, especially in school, when I would be the leader of something and I had to help somebody out and they're like, oh, thank you, Suli. I'm like, you're welcome. You know what I mean? Or being a leader and being a mentor for freshmen, whatever. Like, it's just being able to make a difference to at least one person is enough for me. That's not everybody's model, whatever, and I'm not pushing that onto you, but there's a reason as to why you're doing something. There's a bigger picture for everything that you do. And it's just a lot of people try to stop the vision. A lot of people try to make you not focus on the bigger picture. And I think that that's a major problem with a lot of, I guess, lack of creativity with society today. And that's like a deeper topic, because I'm like, here we go. Let me bring up TikTok. Because, like, just to say, like, for example, trends, you wonder why things in history is repeating itself, right? And why trends are repeating themselves, or why you, like me, I'm annoyed with content because I feel like it's the same shit with a different font, skin tone, and outfit. If not, it's the same outfit, two different colors. Like, instead of white on the top, black, it's black, white. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm just over it and I'm bored, and I'm like, but why aren't people daring to go outside the box? Why are people continuing to conform and follow like a specific formula? Just because, sure, you see it that's what has helped or worked in the past and gained traction, but shouldn't you want to stand out to be something more? That's just my type of, like, thought process, whatever. Or we were talking about people in their 20s. So instead of, you know, the advice that I feel like I've been given for somebody in their second year of their 20s, just turned 22. Yes, my birthday passed. Yes, Leo gang, Leo season. But has been, you know, just go with the flow. And it's like, okay, but the flow's ever changing. The flow is ever changing, so how could you just go with it, right? You got to be prepared for anything and everything at that point, you know what I mean? So I just feel like a lot of people just want people to settle, right? And it's like, there's nothing wrong with settling, but, like, why aren't we encouraging people to get hobbies and to be involved in part of something like club sports? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you didn't make it as a professional athlete, that doesn't mean you can't join a little club that you got going on or something like that, or you can't coach something, you know what I mean? Like, you're having that ambition and aspire to be more than just one thing. I feel like we have grown up, or at least I have grown up in a society that is now changing, but before you were just labeled as one thing, and that's something that I never could be. I could never label myself as just one thing. If I said YouTuber, I have to add podcaster. If I say podcaster, I have to add YouTuber. If I say either or, I have to add model and actress, student, older sister, like the whole thing. Like, I don't believe in just you being titled down to one thing. I don't like it. That's why I felt like if I would list all the things that I'm a part of, I sound conceited. But it's like, no, it's just, there's more to me than just that. You know what I mean? And I don't want to just, because a lot of people make impressions where they judge you right then and there based off what information you tell them. That's how somebody's going to perceive you, and that's how they're going to come up with their own opinion on you. And I'm like, wait, but no, if I just say that I'm a YouTuber, like, okay, they just think that I just sit and record a video. But like, no, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like that's what ambitious people make the world go round. That's why there's new inventions. That's why there's new jobs. I feel like that's why there's so many different types of people in the world, because they are ambitious enough to be out on their own and be the first to do something, or be unique and start that up, or bring, recognition to something or attention to something. You know what I mean? And I feel like just being around ambitious people and having that type of energy surrounding you just allows you to get the most out of life. And y'all, I get it that like life, sometimes people don't have the best of life and they don't have as many opportunities and amazing, experiences to go through. But I feel like if you try your best to get there and you shoot for the stars and you dream of those experiences, you will at least be a part of or accomplish one of your dreams. One. Because that's what ambitious people do. Sure, if you want to get into, more privileged people are able to experience these opportunities and these experiences and blah, blah, blah. Sure, I'm not even going to argue with you there. Sure, they probably have like 5 amazing opportunities and experiences. Like, there are more privileged people than I that have experienced and have been in rooms that I haven't. You know what I mean? But it's like, okay, are you going to let that be the factor as to why you don't do something? Just because you don't see people like you there, or somebody from the same background as you isn't? No, you guys have one thing in common, and that's that ambition. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like to hear excuses when it comes to things like that and not achieving something. So yeah, that's that on that, right? I feel like the whole purpose and topic of that point was that ambition is necessary. I believe that it is necessary. I believe every person should at least have some sort of ambition, right? So I was reading an article, okay? And I was like, okay, but why do people not want somebody to be ambitious? Like, why is that? Like, why does that make people hesitant or give them like, side eye? You know what I mean? I was like, what could be the reasons? And I read that some people are intimidated by that. It's an intimidation thing, and it's a fear of replacement type of thing. If an ambition, young person, it doesn't even have to be young, an ambitious person, period, walks into any establishment and stuff like that, all the attention's going to be garnered to them. You know what I mean? Because they're making themselves known. They're making their presence known and that they're there. And especially, once they get to talking, I feel like ambitious people aren't afraid to speak what they want or what's on their mind type of thing. Like, very outgoing. Doesn't have to be extroverted, but I feel like those are the type of characteristics that are just associated with ambitious people, because they're not afraid to ask for the things that they want, or ask how can they get there, or okay, can you tell me, like, you know what I mean? Because they want the most out of life. So if you have a person like that, enter your environment, your space, to somebody who has been, I don't even know if I want to say the term lucky, but just going with the flow, we'll use that term, and just getting by, they're going to feel intimidated by you because they might not have that, or they might have lost that eagerness and that drive for wanting more, and they just got comfortable. Sometimes that's what happened. People who are uncomfortable are usually not ambitious. You got to get comfortable with the uncomfortable, and I feel like that's like something that is prevalent in ambitious people, that they're ready to adapt to any situation, right? It's because they're ready for life. Like, so for somebody who's not ambitious or has lost that, they're going to be scared of you because they're scared of the replacement. They're scared, and they're now becoming insecure, thinking, okay, am I not enough? Like, can this person like take over my spot? Or once you start listing out, you know, telling your accomplishments, your aspirations, and things that you want in life, some people look at themselves and they're like, damn, at especially whatever age or however you are, like, I didn't think like that. I didn't have that type of mindset or whatever the case may be. And then usually what they end up doing is probably trying to bring you down and shit on all of that. And you got to be strong enough to be like, cute, like, okay, like, thanks for your input that nobody asked for. Because it's like, who are you to shit on all, you know, just because life didn't work out the way you wanted doesn't mean it's not gonna happen for me. I hate those type of people that be like, oh wow, you're really ambitious, like, you know, and they don't say it in that nice tone that's like, wow, you're such an ambitious person, or wow, that's good for you, like, you just like to like think the best of life and like whatever, you know, when people could be sarcastic with that shit, like, that's the type of things that I'm talking about, where they're like, oh yeah, you got some pretty wild ambitions, girl, like, ooh, like, watch yourself, like, sorry, I'm not boring, like, you know. And it's not even that I think that the people who aren't ambitious are boring, but there's definitely a lack of like creativity, a lack of enjoyment, because it's like you're just comfortable with just whatever is handed to you. Not necessarily handed to you because you work for it, but it's like, I mean, I hope you do work for it, but it's like, if you're working towards something, wouldn't you want the best of the best? Wouldn't you want quality, you know? If you're putting in work and effort, wouldn't you try to see what is the most that you can get out of a situation or out of something? You know what I mean? So I feel like I don't understand why people have that intimidation. And if we're going to, you know, recircle it back to the job thing, why wouldn't you want to have an ambitious person on your team? If you're seeing all the things that they're a part of and all the things that, you know, they've accomplished and that they've created on their own or went out and did on their own by themselves or are a part of, why wouldn't you have that person on your team who knows that they could take that or your company or organization to new levels and new heights? That just shows their dedication. That just shows their resilience. That just shows their passion. That just shows their eagerness, their desire to explore, you know? So it's like, sure, look at all the things that they have in their resume that's probably outside of whatever you're looking for, but look at the skills and things and the tools that, you know, or the balls that somebody would need to even go out and do those things. And then especially have those type of results. Turn it around and apply it to the organization you're working for. I feel like a lot of people tend to just, I don't know, think the worst or not. I feel that people just don't give people chances. That's number one. But number two, it's like, why would you think that I would be comfortable in any other aspect or part of my life or environment if you see that I'm exceeding expectations and exceeding all of the quote unquote norm is at this number one age, at just in general, in anything that I do that I've listed here? Why would you think that I would give you anything less than that? You understand? That's just how my brain works. Granted, not everybody's brain like that, but it's like, that's how people should look at it, you know? If you see me excelling and doing all of these great and amazing things with something, why would you think that I would then join or, you know, ruin or half-ass anything that I'm a part of when the proof is right here for you? You know what I mean? That's just how I view it. So yeah, I feel like a lot of people fear ambition and ambitious people because they don't want to be replaced just for selfish reasons. And I feel like that's awful. Okay. I feel like that's a them problem and definitely not you, but it can affect the ambition of other people, because it's like, if you're telling somebody or making somebody think that they're crazy, right, for either wanting to follow their dreams, chase their dream. Why do you think all of these successful people in the entertainment industry and whatever, the business world, the most known successful people, and every time they're interviewed, they say the most cliche thing, which is follow your dreams? Why do you think that they say that? Because a lot of people don't follow. They leave. They reroute. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people do not follow the dream. The dream is there. That's the big picture that I'm getting at. You know what I mean when I said earlier about the big picture, that a lot of people don't look at a big picture or don't see what could be. You know what I mean? Everybody just sees facts, what's there. The world is not even a fact. Like, the world is not even real. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if we're talking about facts, babe, how am I sitting here right now and you're telling me the earth is spinning as I'm speaking right now? Like, if we're like, let's think about it. Even though, yeah, there's scientific proof or whatever, but it's like, Okay, who's the person that came up with the truth and who's the person who determined truth and lies? Who? Who? That's when I get my philosophical hat on and I start questioning everything, and I'm like, I'm like, is this microphone even on right now? Like, you know what I mean? It's insane. And you know what? I think a factor that could kind of help change this stigma around ambition and why there's a lack thereof is just, I guess, the terminology that's used amongst it, like dreams. Why are we calling it dreams? Like something that you fantasize about, or only when you go to sleep, you know, when you're not conscious, that's when you start thinking of fantasies and dreams and all of that. Why are we not saying it a more realistic term? Because that's the thing, it is realistic. Dreams are manifestations, people. Dreams can happen in real life unless you're flying. Like, you know what I mean? There has been multiple instances within my life where I've had severe deja vu that I have literally had to stop and think that I'm like a witch. I'm like, guys, like, I promise you guys are probably freaking out right now and probably think I'm insane, but like I'm having a major deja vu where I can literally like tell you. It happened to me one time. That's a story time for the Patreon. But it happened to me with a whole scene of a guy of when I encountered this man, and I was like, and I knew it was going to be 4 years later. Like, that's a whole different story for a different day. Subscribe to the Patreon. That's the little plug that I'm finna do. But it's true. Why are we calling it follow your dreams? Why not follow the road? Follow the signs. Follow the instincts that you get. Follow the flashes of thoughts that you get. Because that's sometimes, hello, that's when you get, you know, ideas. Is when you're subconsciously not thinking and you're in the shower and you're like, oh, maybe I should do that. Or I get so easily inspired by other people that, like, I not try to be like them, but I'm like, okay, cool. I want to do that, but let me do it like this. Or I could do that, you know? Let's start saying that, yeah, just because this person does it, yeah, I could do that. Anybody that you see here that is a human, you can do the same things that they do. Probably not at the same degree of talent, let's say, because some people are talented. Like, you could sing, everybody can sing, but can you sing good? You know what I'm saying? You could dance, everybody could dance. Can you dance good? You could speak, but can everybody speak? You know what I mean? So everybody could do everything. Everybody could copy each other. I feel like that's what a lot of people are already even doing, y'all, and y'all didn't even have to be told that, but that's a different conversation. But you know what I'm saying? Like, bring back ambition, bring back wanting to reach. Yeah, that's another word, another phrase. Reach for the stars. What? Sky's the limit. What? Why can't we say keep going? Like, you know what I mean? That's why DJ Khaled says keep going. Because keep going. Like, don't associate ambition with untouchable things or untouchable entities. Why are we associating ambition with untouchable entities like dreams, like the stars? Nobody's caught a star. Reach for the moon. What? Is that even real? Did we land on the moon? I see it. I can't reach it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so having that type of like connotation with ambition and dreams and goals and stuff like that, it's like, what are we talking about? Like, I get it. The meaning is to go beyond what you see. That was exactly what was on my graduation cap that I have sitting in my bedroom freaking nightstand. On my high school graduation cap, I have this quote from The Lion King, and I'm telling y'all, if y'all don't do nothing else, if y'all don't even finish the episode, go watch The Lion King as an adult. Okay? Says beyond what you see. He was like, I can't see nothing. He was like, look beyond what you see, Rafiki. Okay? That quote is everything. Look beyond what you see. What I'm seeing right here, right now, is a camera, right? I'm here in my apartment, like whatever. Let's look beyond that. What's outside of here? Chicago. What's outside of Chicago? The river. What's outside of the river? Some other state that's connected to an ocean. What do I see? The beach. Let me go. Like, that's how far, you know, my mind can take me. Like, look beyond what you see. Every time that you're exposed to an opportunity, or you get an opportunity, or you're involved in an experience, okay, great. What's the bigger picture? Sure, the lessons that you learn from it, but it's like, okay, let's look beyond that. And a lot of people don't have that mentality. And you know what? We need to bring it back. Where are my ambitious people, y'all? I remember every time that I would play The Sims, that was one of the 5 traits I needed my Sims to have. Ambitious, boom. That's like a green flag. Like, why wouldn't you want somebody who wanted to be everything? Who wanted to do everything? Who wasn't afraid? Who wanted the more out of life? More life. like Drake says. More life. Whole album called More Life. You understand? Yeah. I don't even know where this episode kind of went. Hopefully it makes sense. It was something that was on my mind. Like, y'all, if I don't do nothing else, hopefully I inspired you or got you thinking. Yeah, like, why isn't there a lot of ambitious people? Why are we only subjecting ourselves to one solid thing? Why are recruiters, kind of giving you side eye if you're looking for a job, if you mention other passions and hobbies, because that's the number one thing that they promote. That's the number one thing when you're in high school. Get involved, do this, go to this club, be a part of this league, blah, 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 all of this, right? When you're in college, join this, do this, be a part of this frat sorority, all of the blah, 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 all this stuff, stretch yourself out and be everywhere, put yourself out there. Once it's written down on a piece of paper, people want to be like, oh. If you do more outside of than what you're told, people are like, oh, wait, you actually took it upon yourself. Everybody swears they want to be entrepreneurial and love that entrepreneurial spirit and mindset until this, oh, wait. So what are you doing here? Don't worry and be happy that I'm here. Be happy that the road led me right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That was just for like a specific thing. Like, that's specifically for jobs because, I'm an entrepreneur, but then I know people probably side-eyeing like, oh, well, why don't you just start your own business? It's not that easy, y'all. It's not that easy to start it, and it's not that easy to keep it afloat. You got to learn. You got to get experience from everywhere and stuff like that. It's like, why wouldn't you? Why would you want, for example, let's run with that before we even close off things. For example, okay, yeah, because I'm sure that's probably a question or probably thoughts that are running through people's minds when they see me. Well, why don't you have SueMoney merch? Like, for example, like, why do you have a bit? Who is more trustworthy? Who sounds like the better fit? Somebody who took classes on how to be an entrepreneur, okay, and started their own business from scratch, no help, you know what I mean, except just a couple of investments from other people, but that's about it. Or is a more better sounding candidate somebody who, sure, let's say that they didn't take classes. Let's say they didn't even go to school for that. But somebody who worked their ass off and wanted to, have multiple jobs in different aspects of the field. And they were, long-lasting jobs. They spent their time there. They held leadership positions and managerial positions at said organizations that they were involved in and a part of. They have or had a mentor that they were in close communication with, that they kind of shadowed and, were able to have to bring them into insight. They've been a part of a couple startup projects that were able to be a part of the startup team of a business. And then they decided to take everything that they learned and open up their own business. But what person sounds more trustworthy and reliable out of those two descriptions? Comment down below if it's not rhetorical. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And I feel like a lot of people get scared of, okay, like, I don't want anybody to, like, be watching this episode and be like, okay, great talk. And then be like, what am I ambitious about? What's my passion? What's my hobby? You don't need to have a passion or a hobby, like, right now. You know what I mean? For those of you who are looking back, towards the end of this episode and being like, okay, great, but, like, I don't know, what am I ambitious about? Just start with life, bro. Just start being ambitious about life. And soon along the way, your ambition will lead you somewhere to where you're meant to be. Okay, timing is everything, y'all. So don't worry and think, oh, I haven't found what I'm like, I don't know what I want out of life right now. Like, hey, cool, stay cool, boy, stay cool. Like, don't worry, don't fret. As long as you have that open mindset, as long as you're open to life, as long as you're thinking about things and letting them go until the timing is right when it comes to you, unless you have that instinct and that urge to take that leap of faith in something, then there's your answer. You'll find what your passion is. You know what I mean? You'll find what your hobby is. You just got to want to find it. That's what ambition is all about. That's how I define it, is wanting more. Not in a greed sense, but it can lead there. Why is greed even considered? Because people want more. Because people then start to deal, well, that's when we become, like, selfish and things like that. But you know what I mean? Like, how did those greedy people, the CEOs of things, of, like, for example, like the SAG-AFTRA right now, okay? It's all over greed right now and money and all of that. Okay, but how did those people get there? Some may say luck. I don't know everybody's life story, you know what I'm saying? I'm just using an example. Could be a bad example, but it's because they were ambitious enough to continue to go to the top. You know what I mean? And now they're just like, all right, now they're comfortable at the top. So they're like, all right, let's ruin everybody else's life. You know what I mean? So don't be ambitious like that. Don't use your ambition for horrible things, for the worst. You know what I mean? Try to make a difference. So I guess I'm going to leave it on that note, y'all. Hopefully you guys were able to take something out of the episode. Hopefully you guys are still here. Hello. I'm like, should I start making y'all comment certain words? But not even, because my audio listeners, if y'all are driving, if y'all are washing dishes, if y'all are doing laundry, or just sitting in your room, sitting wherever and listening to me, I thank you and love you, babe. But yeah, that's about it that I have for this episode. Make sure you guys are following the podcast Instagram at Bagtalk with ueMoney. I'll have it linked down below for you guys if you guys aren't following it, which is insane. That's where I'm going to post new episodes, any guests, which I have some scheduled, so be on the lookout for that. In terms when it comes to my guests, I always like to bring on people who are inspiring, who are ambitious, who are doing their shit, basically, and have knowledge and can share wisdom with people who are looking to learn and start. I like to have them from all types of walks of life. So I got a couple scheduled up. So be sure to follow the Instagram so you guys do not miss that notification. And yeah, y'all, that's all I got for y'all. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to this week's podcast. As y'all know, there's only one thing I'm gonna do, and that is take a selfie and talk my shit. All right, remember to take care, stay safe, be kind, and get in your bag.